Hi, Instagram family. Ugh, I'm so excited about this live. I have been posting for the last couple days asking you guys to send me some questions that you might have, and we're calling it Ask Ashley. And anything about crochet, about me, about blogging, about my business, about yarn, crochet patterns, just anything. All those questions were welcome. Hello. Hello, happy to see some of you guys joining me. Before we get started, I'm going to give people a few minutes to jump in. I just wanted to say a big, giant, huge, heartfelt thank you. We reached 10K followers today, and I'm just over the moon. Like, I couldn't be happier. I set my goal in February of this year, and I had 4,800 followers, and I set my goal to hit 10K before the end of the year. Honestly, I didn't think that I would be able to do it. I thought it was a big goal, which it was. So I'm thrilled that we reached it, and I got big surprises coming. I've got an awesome giveaway coming hopefully next week, and I'm going to make one of my paid patterns a free pattern on my blog, and I'm going to let you guys vote on which of my paid patterns you would like to see for free on my blog. So that's coming soon. I've got to figure out the best way to do like a survey. I don't know if it should be on Facebook or through my mail newsletter thingy, so I don't know. We'll see. But more info on that to come. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited. Absolutely thrilled. When one of us does good, we all do good, because now I'll be able to be like, hey, swipe up to Taylor's new crochet pattern that she just posted in her Etsy shop. Or, hey, swipe up to the Hook Nook's new blog post she just posted. You'll probably really like it. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm going to use this swipe up tomorrow, so get excited for that too. Okay, let's jump into the questions, and I've kind of organized them so the conversation kind of flows, but I didn't write down my answers because I'm kind of a wing it kind of gal. So hopefully it's makes sense and it's helpful. If you haven't already, you might want to grab a scrap piece of paper and a pencil, because I might give you some references that you would like to look back at later for further reading on certain topics. But you can always ask me too. Be like, hey, can you send me the link to the post you were talking about, and I will do that for you. So let's get started. The first question, I thought we'd start easy, kind of take baby steps. How old are you? Someone asked how old I was. I am 28. When I turn 30, I'll be 29 in February, but when I turn 30, I'm planning a pretty awesome birthday party for myself. Yes, throwing myself a birthday party when I turn 30, and it's going to be at our local skating rink where I used to have birthday parties as a kid, almost every year. Next question, tell us about your pets. Still keeping it simple. I have an outside kitty named Pink Nose. She's fluffy, and Gabe loves her more than life. And that's my husband, Gabe. And we have our inside dog named Tanner, and he's a Maltese and a Poodle mix, and we got him from the flea market, and he had mange, and he's 7 years old, and he's the best dog on the planet. He's unbelievably smart. It's insane. And we had a guinea pig, but she recently passed. It was quite sad. She died on November 6th, which was my aunt's birthday. And I just realized she's probably watching this live, and I haven't told her yet because I didn't want to tell her on her birthday. So, Sissy, I'm sorry. Guinea has passed. I don't know what happened. She just kind of laid down and didn't get back up. It was very sad. But Ava was okay, thankfully. I was worried about that. Next, how old were you when you learned to crochet? Okay, getting into the crochet questions now. That's exciting. My mama taught me how to crochet when I was 10 years old. She taught me how to chain and double crochet, and she taught me how to do a granny square, just a basic granny square. And that's all that I did. First I made these gigantic chains. I just kept making chains, full skeins of yarn of chains. And then she taught me the double crochet and the granny square. And I made this huge granny square blanket with a whole bunch of random yarn, different brands, different colors. I added a new skein right in the middle of little clusters and everything. No rhyme or reason, but I made it, and it was huge. It covered a queen size bed. I ended up giving it to Gabe. I think I broke my ankle when I was 16. I broke my right ankle and 3 toes on my left foot in a car accident, so I couldn't really do much, and that's when I picked up crocheting again, and that's when I finished that blanket and gave it to Gabe, my now husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, and he took really good care of me when I broke my ankle and my toes. That's why I fell in love with him. He's a good man. So yeah, 10 years old, picked it up again when I was 16, and never put it back down after that, really. What got you into crochet? I'm assuming that question means like professionally. I guess the main thing was I just really loved how I could take a skein of yarn and make something out of it. Like, I didn't need glue, I didn't need a sewing machine, I didn't need duct tape. I could make something that's a finished piece with just a skein of yarn and a crochet hook, and that just, I love to make things. I've always loved to make things. I used to be really big into scrapbooking before I got my mom bod. No, I'm just kidding. Before I got married, like a long time ago, scrapbooking was my hobby, and then I picked up crochet and stuck with it, and I really love making something from nothing that is cute and practical, like a hat that'd keep you warm, or a scarf that'd keep you warm. I thought that was awesome, and I don't know, I love crocheting. I love making things. How long have you been crocheting? We went over that one. How long did it take you to get good at crocheting? I don't know. I mean, I'm good at certain patterns, but I wouldn't say I'm good at crocheting as a whole. If I was to try something completely new, it might totally throw me, and I would have to keep working at it forever until I got it looking right, just like anything else. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm good at crocheting. I'm good at making Claire Bun beanies, because I make 6,000 Claire Bun beanies every hour. No, wouldn't that be great? But just like anything else, the more you do it, the better you get. Especially specific patterns. When you make the same pattern over and over again, you'll get really good at making that pattern. So I guess that answers that one. What inspires your projects? Where do your ideas come from? So I can't pop out new patterns unless something inspires me. And to the designers that they can just sit down and say, okay, I'm going to design something new today. Those people are superheroes. Like, I cannot do that. I have to have an idea that comes from something. Now, sometimes my ideas come from previous designs. So I made the Bitty Boho bag, and then I made the Bitty Boho bib, because as I was making the bag, I was like, how cute would this be as a bib? So I changed the pattern so it would be a bib. Hi guys, coming in. Hey Taylor. I also like to do modifications of my patterns. So like my crafty cactus pillow, I've done one with pom-pom trim, one where I've tied actual pom-poms onto the body, one with bobble stitches, one without bobble stitches. So sometimes I just get inspired by previous patterns. Sometimes I get inspired by things that are trending online, like outside of the maker community. If there's I don't know, like a hat or a dress or a pillow that's everybody's talking about it or sharing it or whatever, I'm like, I could probably crochet something similar to that. And so sometimes designs get made that way. Sometimes I'll see something at Walmart and I'm like, I could crochet that. A lot of times my designs come from necessity. The facial rounds that I made, I had bought some face halos, and they're like $30 for 3. And I was like, okay, what can I crochet? What kind of material can I use? And I was trying to figure out if there was a microfiber yarn, because the face halos are made with microfiber, and that's why they're so good at cleaning your face. And the closest I could come to was polyester yarn, which is the Burnett baby blanket yarn that I used for the design. So that came out of necessity. I think there's been a few other things that I made out of necessity. All my messy bun beanies I designed those because somebody was like, hey, can you make me a messy bun beanie? I was like, sure. So I made like 8 different ones, and the person that wanted one, she wanted a whole bunch of them, and she was like, just go crazy. She has a big family, and she was like, just go crazy. I want all different designs and colors. And so I was able to design like 8 different beanies, I think. And these 3, the Claire, Kate, and Juliet, were my favorites, and those are the ones that we stuck with. And those of Claire obviously is the one that's done the best in physical sales and pattern sales. The Claire Ben Beanie always does the best, even though Juliet is awesome. Like, Juliet doesn't get enough credit. Let me see if I got one here. I do. Like, how awesome is Juliet? She's just basic and simple, and, you know, she doesn't need anything special because she's already special enough. You know what I mean? I like Juliet, especially the palm versions, which is included in the pattern. But, next question. How long does it take you to finish a Claire Ben Beanie? About 40 minutes, I think. I haven't timed myself since I've started using Clover and More hooks, but I think it's about 40 minutes. How many beanies can you make in a day? The most that I've made in one day was last beanie season, and I made 10 in one day, and it was hard because Gabe was out of town that day, so it was me and Ava, and she was a year younger, so she was like 2-something, but I did it. I made 10 in one day. It was exhausting, but usually if I, like, my favorite sweet spot for making so many a day is 5. 3, I like to do 3 a day. That's like super simple, but I can push myself to do 5 and then feel really like accomplished for that day. If I could stick to 5 beanies a day, I'd be pretty set when it comes to orders. Could you crochet a whole Claire Ben beanie without looking? I don't know, but that would be a really fun thing to video, don't you think? Video me like blindfolded trying to crochet a whole Claire Ben beanie without looking at all and only feeling and just going from muscle memory. I don't know. It would be fun to try it out, I think. Favorite part of being a maker? Okay. So I have lots of favorite parts that I like about being a maker. Goes back to what I like about crocheting is making something from nothing. I really like that. I like how I can make gifts for people. I could use it for charity, like giving people that are homeless beanies to keep them warm. If I felt led to do that, which I have in the past, but and I'd like to do more in the future when it comes to charities. That's something I have planned for maybe when Ava starts preschool and I have a little bit more time on my hands. But I like also about being a maker is just the maker community. Talking with you guys every single day is one of the best parts of my day. Like, I love seeing what y'all are making, different colors that you're using, different yarns. I love learning about new yarns because that's something that I did in 2018 was learn about a whole bunch of new yarns, because previously all I've ever used is Red Heart Super Saver, Red Heart with Love, and then I upgraded to I Love This Yarn, and I've been using I Love This Yarn ever since. So I've liked learning about new yarns. I like when other people like my designs. That's just a really good feeling. It's a really good boost of confidence and encouragement. And that's another thing, too, that helps me design new patterns is when you guys like my current patterns. It just gets me fired up, and I want to make new things for you guys all the time. I love everything about being a maker. I love being an entrepreneur, running a business, running an Etsy shop, running a blog. Like, I love all of it. Packaging, I love packaging. Designing patterns, but also designing my wrap labels and thank you cards and tags to go on my products for my market. I don't know, I love every single bit of it. How do you make room for being a business owner, a mom, a wife, and house stuff? So the biggest chunk of this answer would be that my husband is fantastic. He, especially during beanie season, but year-round, he's just amazing. He is he loves being a dad. He loves spending time with Ava. He cleans a lot. He's one of those types that just, they can't sit down if the house isn't clean. I'm fine with that. Like, I can easily sit down. If you can see my craft room right now, you would know that I can easily relax even if it's a mess. He can't. So he cleans a lot, and he doesn't complain about it. And I clean a lot too, like throughout the day. Most of my cleaning gets done in the 15 minutes it takes Gabe to come home from work, because I power clean as fast. Me and Ava are running around the house like mad ladies, trying to clean up everything as fast as we can, just because I know it makes him happy. But he takes really good care of Ava. he puts her to bed every night. That's something we started when she was little. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm with her all day long. And I was like, you can put her to bed. That would be nice. It would give you guys some daddy-daughter time, that because I get mommy-daughter time all day long. And so he liked that idea. So he puts her to bed at 8 o'clock every night. And he gets home at like 5:15. We have dinner, and then I go up to my craft room, and I crochet the night. Well, and blog and package and all that stuff. But I work every evening. I come up here about 6:30, 7 o'clock. Gabe spends time with Ava, puts her to bed at 8, and then he goes to bed at 9 on the dot. And then another thing about juggling is I stay up till usually midnight or 1 o'clock almost every night. And Ava doesn't get me up till about 8:30, sometimes 9, which is really nice. So I go to bed really late. That's something else that I do. I drink a lot of coffee. That helps. Every morning I have a cup of coffee before I do anything, and Ava knows that, like, I get her breakfast, I feed the animals, I let everybody go to the potty, and then I sit down and have my coffee. And if Ava needs anything, she knows that I have to finish my coffee first before I get up again. We tried to do like a monthly date night for me and Gabe to try to cover the wife aspect of this question, and we did really well for a little bit, but we got, I don't know, distracted and haven't done it. But I'd like to pick that up again, just once a month, go out to dinner or go watch a movie with just me and him. And I always try to make sure, like, because sometimes I won't realize that I haven't spent any time with him because my business is my passion and this is my happy place. And when I'm up here in my craft room, I need to be like, oh shoot, we haven't watched Netflix together in a while. We've been watching Heart of Dixie together, which it has been a while because it's beanie season and it's crazy town. But I don't know, we try to just do little things together. We go to church together every Sunday, and usually on Friday nights we go to small group together. Ava has started going to children's church instead of in Big Sanctuary with us, which is awesome. So Gabe and I can actually listen to the sermons, which are great. House stuff and Ava is Gabe carries a lot of that weight. And I guess that's answered it. If you guys want me to get more into detail on that, I know a lot of people struggle with that. Ava is really easy right now. We're in a season of life where everything's pretty simple. She doesn't have like a whole bunch of sports. I don't have to take her to sleepovers or school. I mean, she's 3. Things will change eventually, and then we'll be in a new season, and then my schedule will look different. When I work will be different than when I work now. But for now, and plus I just have the one kid, and she's pretty great. Like, she's very independent. She can play by herself. She can get snacks. She can get me snacks. So being 3 is a whole lot easier than being 2, and I find that I'm able to work more. And I can, like, if she's watching Netflix or something, I can be sitting there crocheting a beanie. If she's taking a bath, I'm crocheting a beanie. Things like that. And then I do make sure, I'll be like, okay, I've crocheted 2 beanies, I need to sit down and we need to play a game. So we'll play like with one of her little puzzles or something, or we'll go do something like go to Chick-fil-A and let her play on the playground there, or we have a place with like inflatables that she likes to go to, stuff like that. If you guys want me to get more into detail into that, I will. Just message me. She's good at getting snacks. Has your husband always been supportive of your business? Absolutely. I'm so blessed when it comes to Gabe and Ava, but Gabe thinks that what I do is like a superpower. He's very impressed and very encouraging, and he tells people about my business, and he's so supportive. And if I didn't have him and I didn't have that support from him, I don't think my business would be where it is now without him. And to those of you who I know don't have as supportive husbands, my heart breaks for you, because I couldn't imagine my life without Gabe being supportive. But you guys we can change their minds, okay? We can all get together and we can change their minds and let them see how important that, one, even if you're not even at all successful, your mental health is important as a mom and as a wife. Mental health, that's serious business. And if crochet makes you happy and your business makes you happy, then that should make him happy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We'll work on our husbands to make sure they're all supportive of our hobbies and businesses. He melts my heart. Taylor loves Gabe. She's team Gabe. She tells me a lot. It helps that he's pretty cute too. He's easy on the eyes. Next question. Was it hard to start your business? I wouldn't say hard. I opened my Etsy shop in 2016, but I started selling crochet things back in 2012 when I graduated college. Nobody asked me about college. I did go to college, general studies, because I had 12 different majors and I kept changing my mind. But I graduated with general studies and a minor in American Sign Language, in case you were wondering. Husband is a whip. Yeah, some of our husbands are whips, and that's fine, because we always finish our whips. Well, mostly. Our important whips, we finish those, so that's good. In 2012, I was crocheting a little bit of everything. So I started watching YouTube videos around 2012, and I mostly watched Bob Wilson 123 on YouTube, and I learned a lot, because she just makes, like, everything. She's got videos from start to finish of a million different types of projects, and I was just making all the things, like one of everything, basically. And then I started to learn, like, how yarn would work, how the stitches would work with each other, if I needed to decrease, if I needed to increase, if I needed to sew things on. Like, I started picking all that up just from doing all kinds of different patterns with her. Watching her, I'd never, like, read patterns, but I watched her on YouTube. She's amazing, and she's Australian, so you get to listen to her voice, which is awesome. So 2012, making a little bit of everything. And then when we moved to Alabama, I think it was like 2014, I started selling my pieces. Or no, it was still, when we were still in Kentucky, I was selling like owl hats. I remember owl hats got really popular, like the square ones with the big eyes. And I was selling those and making like little matching wrist warmers and stuff like that. And then I made like boot cuffs, and I was selling those. And then obviously everybody wanted character hats, which I don't do anymore for copyright reasons, but also because each new character hat is like designing a whole new pattern, and it's a whole bunch of trial and error, and I can't do a whole bunch of trial and error things. I need to be able to pop them out knowing that I know what I'm doing instead of trying to make it up as I go. But they were fun for a while, and that's probably another reason why I learned what I learned, is because I was always making something new, designing new things, and having to manipulate the yarn and my stitches to get the finished piece that I was looking for. What was the question? Is it hard to start your business? Okay, so then I was doing all that crazy random stuff, selling to friends and family on Facebook. You can pay me when you get the money, and I send them the things 3 weeks in advance, like things like that. It was a mess. But then I started stalking Kim from Southern Day Crochet here on Instagram. Southern Day Crochet. She used to be Kimmy's Creations, I think, back when I was wanting to be her more than anything. And I didn't realize it until recently. It just kind of clicked, like, oh yeah, that's what sparked my business, was Southern Day Crochet. It was Kim from Southern Day Crochet. She was making the bows, the Southern style bows that I still make today and clip on the backs of my beanies. She was making those, and that was her entire business. All she made was bows, and she had different color combinations that had different names, and I actually got to name one of her color combinations, which was the highlight of my year. She made a, I don't know, I called it champagne, and it worked, and she loved it, and I was like super starstruck that she loved my name idea. But she made these bows, and that was her whole business, and I was like, man, she just cranks out these bows, doing them over and over again. I don't know, I loved that. I loved that her business was one thing, basically, and she rocked at that one thing, and her pictures were always so colorful and beautifully taken. If you go to her page, you can probably scroll like a long, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and you'll just see nothing but bows, and they were beautiful, and I wanted that for myself. I really wanted to make bows, but I was like, I'm not going to make bows because that's her business. I need something else, and that's when I kind of decided to start doing my stuffies, which in 2016, when I opened my Etsy shop, which is really when I count starting my business, so I count in 2016. That's when I finally opened an Etsy shop after debating with myself for like 3 years, from 2012 to 2016, so that 4 years, I don't know. Everybody's like, oh, you need to open an Etsy shop, and I was like, I can't open an Etsy shop when I sell a bazillion different things. Like, how would I do that? And plus all the different sizes for the character hats, and how would I price all of it? It was a mess. I didn't even think about copyright infringement. That never even crossed my mind. But So I opened my shop with my stuffies, and I was selling the finished pieces. Hang on, I might have one in here. Excuse my mess. I have a stuffy, I have a box of finished pieces underneath my table. Okay. Here's one of my stuffies. And so I started my whole business. I listed like 12 of these, 12 or 15, I don't remember. This is an Ava bunny. A lot of them have little hearts on their butts, but this one doesn't have a heart. I don't know, maybe he's unfinished. So I started selling Ava bunnies while we were still in Alabama, after Ava was born, so probably like 2015, early 2016, on Facebook, and I was selling them. Don't judge my craft room, Taylor. It's a mess. It's so bad. It's beanie season. Plus, I really need a pegboard for my little mementos. But so around Easter time, I started selling these bunnies. I think I was selling them for $10 on Facebook, and I sold like maybe 20 of them just to local people. And that's when I started doing PayPal invoices and getting paid up front, or I was finishing them and not selling them until they were finished. But if I took custom orders, I needed the payment up front. But so I was like, cool, people like these bunnies. They like my stuffies. So I started designing. I have a picture. You see that? Started designing a whole bunch of different animals. It's a hippo and a kitty and a lion. This is a picture on a pillow that my mom made for me. And that's what I wanted to build my business around, was my stuffies. That's what I was going to be known for. I was going to make these stuffies, and that was it. And I listed them on Etsy, and they literally were like, Crochet Bunny Stuffy. That was my title, which if you know anything about posting titles on Etsy, you need a little bit more than Crochet Bunny Stuffy. Like, that's a whole nother life. But, and I sold, the thing that I did to start my Etsy shop and to make sure it was successful was I had all these different animals. I had like 12 or 15 animals, and I only had one of each. And I said, the first person who buys each new animal gets to name it. So the Ava bunny, obviously I named after Ava, but the cow was, the person who bought the cow was my neighbor Kendra, and her daughter's name is Mia, and we named it the Mia Moo Moo. So that's how the cow was listed in my shop, was the Mia Moo Moo. And so anytime that somebody bought a new animal, they got to name it. And there's so many, all of them, some of them have really sweet stories, like, was it my giraffe was named after a baby that this couple was in the process of adopting, and they didn't know if they were going to get a boy or a girl, so they just named it after their last name. So it's my Wilson giraffe is what I have. And if I ever get around to designing the patterns, which a lot of people ask me for the patterns a lot, I will still keep the original names. So it would still be the Ava bunny, it would still be the Wilson giraffe, the Mia Moo Moo, things like that. But that got people to want to buy them really fast because they wanted to be able to name them after their kid or after their family or something, anything like that. I think one of them was named after a Bengals football player, maybe? That's football, right? I don't know. But that was fun, and that it attracted people to my shop, and I sold out on day one. I sold all of my 12 or 15 stuffies, all to local people. My aunt bought 2, like things like that. But it was so encouraging. I remember hearing my first cha-ching, and I was like, what was that? And I remember there was these kids here that were making my house more energy efficient, and I was like telling them all about my excitement, and they probably didn't even care. But it was a good day. It was a really good day. And then I started doing New Stuffy Monday, and every Monday I would design a new animal stuffy and list it in my shop, and the first person to buy it gets to name it. And it went really well. Stuffies were killing. I mean, not killing. I was having fun. I was having a good time making stuffies and selling them. And I would do I got really creative with the bunnies, and I ended up making flower crowns around the tops of them. And I made mer bunnies with mermaid tails instead of feet. And it was fun, and I could have done that forever, but then the messy bun beanie craze hit, and that's when everything changed. It was November of 2016 is when that picture went viral. You know which picture I'm talking about. The girl with the side, and then it looked like stained glass color yarn. That picture went viral, and people started asking me for messy bun beanies, and January 1st of 2017. I listed some messy bun beanies and they sold immediately. And that was also my aunt. But it was awesome. And everything changed after the messy bun beanies hit. Everything changed for my business because somebody else's picture went viral. Isn't that crazy? I love how things like that can happen. But that's how I started my business. It was Stuffies and New Stuffy Monday. And like I don't know, it was fun. I had big ideas too. I was going to like take a Stuffy with me everywhere I went and take pictures of them. Be like, this is Ava Bunny at the Cincinnati Zoo and stuff like that. Which I never got around to it. After the beanies, messy bun beanies took off, then I started designing patterns, and all because of the messy bun beanie picture that went viral. Like, it changed my whole life. Sir. Also, yeah, these do take a long time to make compared to messy bun beanies, and they're not, like, if I was to design them now, they would be done differently, better than, these were made with an H-hook, you guys. Who makes amigurumi with an H-hook, right? You want it to be, see, they're a little holy. I feel like I needed to use a G or the one lower than that. Next question. How did you come up with your business name? This is a fun one. I remember I was at my bookstore that I was working at senior year of college, or I just graduated, so somewhere around 2012, and I had this big list of like 24 different names. And I knew I wanted my name to be something broad. I didn't want it to be like Ashley's Crochet or Ashley Crochet all day. I don't know. I didn't want it to say crochet in it because I didn't want to be tied down to just crochet, because at the time I was making a little bit of everything. I was making very, very poorly made wire jewelry, costume jewelry, revamping. I was making things out of paper, like newspapers and magazines. You know, like if you fold paper and it's like kind of like this, and then you intertwine them, and yeah, I was doing things like that. And thinking I could sell it and make a business, which, if you can do that, totally awesome, because making those little things are super fun. But obviously I stuck to crochet instead. So I wanted my name to be broad, and originally I was doing things as much as I could with recycled materials, like magazines and pop tabs and costume jewelry. So the name that I went with, and I went with it for less than a week, was Better Than New Creations. That was my business name at first, Better Than New Creations, and it lasted for about a week, and then I switched to a crafty concept. I wanted it to be like, I thought a crafty concept sounded kind of punny almost, like, oh, she's so crafty, or that's a crafty concept, like, that's a good idea, that's a pretty creative idea. That's what I was going for. And obviously it has nothing to do with crochet, a crafty concept, but I couldn't be happier with how it worked out, because I can use crafty, capital C, and I name a lot of my patterns out of that, or my crafty sip and stitch, things like that. So the word crafty, I can use it in any way that I need to, and it's really worked out super well. But I made this big old list. Here's a few quick tips on business names. Ashley's quick tips. They are not the best they're just Ashley's tips, what I think. You want something that can be read easily, said easily, and spelled easily. If you get too funky or creative with your words or your spelling, or doing like a K instead of a C, things like that, people might not be able to remember it easily when they're searching for you. You don't want your name to be too close to anybody else's name, because that's going to get you confused. And people aren't going to, like, they're going to think they're buying from you when they're buying from the person that sounds like you, or vice versa. That's happened here to a local friend who makes cups, like the resin cups and monogramming stuff. I think there's another person who does that has a similar name, and people were trying to return their things to this person, but they bought them from this person, and it's just a mess. So you don't want your name to sound too much like anybody else's name. And I did check that the URL was available for craftyconcept.com back in 2012 when I was making things out of magazine paper. And I think I bought the URL for like $1 or $1 a year or something. I get it from GoDaddy.com. I bought it immediately because I knew one day I might need a craftyconcept.com. And before I needed it, I just had it go straight to my Facebook. So if you typed in a craftyconcept.com, it would take you to my A Crafty Concept Facebook page. which works perfectly, and it's easier to say than try to find me on Facebook. Just search a crafty concept. I don't know. You can just say, go to craftyconcept.com, and it'll take you right to my Facebook. But that's what I did until I got my blog, was I just had it go directly to there. And now I bought a craftySipandStitch.com, and it goes directly to the A Crafty Sip and Stitch Facebook group. And I put that like on my flyers, and I tell people A craftySipandStitch.com, just because it's easier to remember, it's easier to say, pretty simple to spell. Concept, it's hard for me to say and hard for me to spell until I've been doing it forever. But that might be a word that trips some people up. I don't know. Nobody's ever told me. But business names, I don't know. You want something that you can get creative with. Think of all the different ways that you might need your business name. Like, are you going to crochet forever, or are you going to switch to sewing one day, or making polymer clay crochet hooks? Like Harper Baby Shop. Harper Baby Shop was Harper Baby Shop, and then she switched to Harper Baby Hooks, which is perfect. It's super easy. I mean, it's so flawless that some people probably didn't even recognize it and thought she was always Harper Baby Hooks. Things like that, though, that you can use your name in different ways. At the same time, you want to be like, I didn't say like Ashley's Unique Makes or Ashley's Unique Things. Like, it has the word crafty in it, so that would let you, like, crochet fits with that, because crochet is a crafty type thing that you do. It's creative. So crafty, the word in my name kind of goes with what I do a little bit, but not to where I'm like suffocated by only doing the one thing. Which is good, because I did start out making things out of magazine paper and pop tabs. I made Tanner a leash out of pop tabs and ribbon, and it's actually pretty awesome. And I might try to do a blog post on it maybe one summer when things are super slow. Yeah. And I make my mat bags and my fabric pumpkins Taylor's reminding me of. So A Crafty Concept is more than just crochet. Crochet is my main day, but I do have little tidbits here and there that can, like my mat bags are something I use for my crochet business. So it goes together. But the fabric pumpkins was just something that it was super fun. I like projects where you can recycle things. I still am drawn to that. And making fabric pumpkins out of old baby clothes was a fun blog post for me, and that's on my blog right now. It's oldie but goodie. Best advice for making a career out of crochet. I think the very best advice is, don't compare yourself to other people, because they might be doing this longer, or they might have different resources that you don't have. Like, what if my husband was this awesome graphic designer and he made all of my, like, that would give you a big up in the maker community if your husband was a graphic designer or a photographer or a web designer. Like, how would you compete with that if that wasn't your husband? You know what I'm saying? So don't compare yourself to other people, because you don't know what season they're in either. They could have been doing this behind the scenes for 3 years before they even decided to open their shop. So their stats might say they've been open since 2015, but they've really been working on it since 2012. Hardcore working on it. Ava is singing loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that. My door is closed, but she is really, really getting it. I think she might be singing Frozen. I don't know. If you can hear that, you're welcome. What was I going to say? Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't expect to be your best self immediately. Like, that's something that I struggled with. I was so frustrated that I didn't have a thing like Kimmy's Crochet, who had her bows. Like, I wanted that for my business, and I wanted it immediately. And I wanted my Instagram to be all cohesive, like TL Yarn Crafts and DeBrose. Like, that's what I wanted, and I wanted it immediately. And I felt like I was just sucky if I couldn't get it overnight. I couldn't just change everything and make it perfect. It really got me down, and that's something that you shouldn't let get you down. Honestly, things will fall into place the more you work at it, and then you'll wake up and you'll be looking through your Instagram. You're like, oh, when did my pictures get cohesive? Like, they all kind of look like they are from the same photographer, me, crochet photographer here. It just happens out of the blue. Like, you'll happen to look at your stuff and be like, wow, that's way better than it used to be. Or, like, I don't know. things, you can't just do it immediately. You can't jump into being the very best because you want to at that exact moment. Things take so much time, and they happen so slowly, and then boom, it's exactly what you wanted 2 years ago. It just took you 2 years to get there. And I think that's fine. If this is something you want to do, that you want to pour your heart and soul into, you want it to take time. Like, you want it to continuously be growing, because that's showing that you are, like, your work is paying off. You're doing better. You're growing. You're getting more sales on Etsy. You're designing more patterns than you had before. You're set up in different stores throughout your town. Things like that. You want to see your growth, and you wouldn't see that if you just, like, boom, overnight, you're perfect. Nobody's perfect overnight. So give yourself a little slack. Be patient with yourself, and don't stop trying to learn. Like, I remember I used to spend so much time watching YouTube videos about all kinds of different things. How to set up a blog, how to crochet different techniques, anything, like how to use my camera, how to best apps on iPhones for editing pictures, what should my blog post have in it, like what are some things that I should have, how do I make a pinnable picture, things like that. I would be watching on YouTube or listening to while I'm crocheting. And like recently I've been learning about how to animate my logo. So if I was to start making YouTube videos and I had my logo at the beginning to do something really cute. I know Bee Hooked Crochet, her logo, if you watch her videos, it's really cute. So I've been searching on how to do that, and honestly it's not as hard as you think. I was really surprised how animating isn't magic. It looks like magic, but it's actually done on the computer. And you can use Keynote, which is basically PowerPoint, but for Mac, which is what I've been looking at. So don't stop learning. If you love what you do, don't stop learning about what you're doing. If you're selling finished pieces, learn about marketing, learn about social media, learn about getting set up in stores, learn about displays, learn about how to take styled pictures, flat lays. Just keep learning, keep looking at what other people are doing, even in different fields. If you sell crochet beanies and that's your whole business, look at how stores are selling their beanies. Obviously, they're probably mass-produced, but look at how they're marketing them, how they're styling them in photos. See what they're doing and try to implement it into the crochet world as best you can. That would be... my voice is getting weird. I should have got me some water. But that would be something that I would say to do first. Just don't compare yourself to others, and don't try to be the very best immediately, and don't stop learning. Always try to be learning something new and getting better. Like, if you feel like you've gotten really good in this area, okay, move on to the next area and learn something new. And that will help your business continue to grow, which is what we all want. Good advice for people that would like to start doing a crochet business. I think I hit on that. I kind of ramble, so I think we're good on that one. What was your biggest struggle when you first started? When I read this question, I was trying to think. I'm not saying that I didn't struggle, because I know that I did. Obviously, I wanted to be Kim from Southern Day Crochet. I wanted to just be her and do bows like she did bows. But my memory is so bad. Like, it's very poor. I couldn't tell you what I ate yesterday. I don't remember anything distinctively standing out as a struggle. Like, and that also falls into Gabe being really supportive. If I felt like my shipping was struggling and it was taking me 3 hours to package my beanies, then I bought my label printer, that guy, and that helps. Like, and Gabe was like, yeah, we'll get you the label printer. He's so supportive and helpful and encouraging. That helped a lot with a lot of the struggles that I struggled with pictures. I wanted my pictures to look good. And when I bought the iPhone 8 Plus with my Spoonbread money, Spoonbread is a festival that we have here in Berea, and I used almost all of the money I made the weekend at the Spoonbread. It was a 3-day festival to buy my iPhone, because that's something I needed for my business to help take my business to the next level. So I feel like that's something too. If you're struggling in a specific area, maybe you just need to invest in yourself financially. I know that's scary, especially if like you're already strapped in life. Thankfully, Gabe is really good with money. He's always saved really well. So never been like super, we did live like crazy people when we first got married, like didn't use heat in the winter and stayed in the bedroom with a space heater and 12 things of pajamas on and eating ramen noodles. But we did that because Gabe was saving money. So we're good when it comes to things like that, thanks to Gabe, because he's got a good head on his shoulders. But if you can, start setting back just a little bit. Like every time you sell a beanie or something, put back $1 because you need to buy this printer so you can make your shipping process easier, or because you need to buy a new phone or a new camera so you can take better pictures, or because you want to buy a backdrop so all of your pictures are cohesive. Things like that. If you think of something that you think would help your business to get over a specific struggle that you have, investing in yourself financially is important. Every time that I do that, my business grows. And I know it's hard. And usually you get the investment back. Like, you start making more money because your pictures are better and people are buying your things more. So usually you're going to see yourself growing because of the financial investment that you made in yourself. I guess the biggest struggle was just trying to find something to make. I wanted to be branded to the point where people knew me for this thing that I made, which I guess now is the Claire Bun beanie. But also like patterns too. Like, people know that I design patterns. That's fun. And that's fun because patterns are everything. Like, I could design anything and still be a pattern designer, you know. But for people who just sell finished things, I liked for my business to be all the same. For the most part, all the same things. Like, have the same target audience. I didn't want to be making messy bun beanies for people in the ages 25 to 45, but then also making newborn photo props for brand new moms, or baby photographers, or character beanies for moms of like 8-year-olds, things like that. Makes your target audience all over the place. So if you're trying to like hone in on your business and what you want to do, what you want to sell, think of who you want to sell it to first, and try to figure out who your target audience is, who you can easily market to, and go from there, because I think that will help you narrow down what you want to sell. How did you get your shop started? I think we've touched on that. I just started. That's another thing. Just start. I kept putting off opening an Etsy shop forever because I was just so anxious that I would look like an idiot, is what I was worried about. I was afraid that I would just look like this homegrown lady trying to sell my crochet things like I'm some sort of businesswoman, is what I thought. It doesn't matter. One, even if I did look like that, so what? I'm enjoying myself, so who cares what you look like, and who cares what people think you look like? And two, just do it, because like I said, you're not going to be perfect overnight, but when you start, then you start. And you keep taking baby steps and getting better and doing more and figuring out what you're doing. Fake it till you make it. My entire business is fake it till you make it. Like blogging. I had no idea what I was doing. Taylor from Taylor Lynn Crochet helped me a lot with my blog and like affiliate marketing and stuff, because I had no idea what was happening. And I started a blog. One day I bought all of the hosting and everything that you need to start a blog, and I was like, okay, got a blog now. I'm done. Like, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to start writing things. I think one of the first things I posted was I created the color chart for I Love This Yarn because I used it in my listings. That's why I created it. And so I was like, well, other people probably use this yarn, so I'm going to put that on my blog. And then everybody can have the color chart for I Love This Yarn in solid colors. So that's what I did. And how did you get started blogging? That's the next question. Already started on that question. Excuse me. So I wanted to start my blog because I wanted to have a place to give other makers free like materials for their businesses. That's a passion of mine. I really like helping other people. I really like helping other makers start and run their businesses. I like giving you guys tools and tips that you can use to implement changes in your business immediately. And I was making things already for my business, like the color chart, So why the heck not make it available to other makers too? I was already making it. It's not like I was going out of my way to make something new, which I do that now and I really enjoy it. But before, I started making things for my business and sharing them so other people could use them for their business too. And then also I wanted a space to start doing free patterns for lots of different reasons. One, I wanted people to see how my pattern format was. How my format was? I don't know. Before they started investing in my patterns, my paid patterns, I wanted them to get a little taste of how things are set up and organized and what they can expect in my paid patterns through my free patterns. Also, some of my free patterns are so simple. Like, I would feel silly selling it because of how simple it is. Or at least I thought it was. Obviously, not everybody's on the same crochet, like advanced, whatever, beginner, whatever. But, or it didn't like fit in with the things that I designed, or it was too almost generic. Like my donut keychains, that's a crochet donut. Like everybody makes crochet donuts. They all look similar because it's a donut. Like how different can you make it? So I posted that as a free pattern on my blog, little donut keychains, just because I would feel silly charging people for that. That's another thing. I have a very weird conscience. Like, I cannot sell something that should be free, or I couldn't sell something at $10 when it should be $5. Like, I still have people coming at me telling me, or not coming at me, that sounded violent, coming to me telling me that I should raise my beanie prices, and I started selling my beanies at $15, and then I raised it to $18, and then I raised it to $20, and then I raised it to $25, and I feel like $25 is a good price. I make them in under an hour. The yarn is $4.99, and I can get so many beanies per skein. I just feel like me selling them at more than $25 would be greedy. But that's just me. And obviously, everybody's different. And if another one of these questions coming up is, how do I price things? I price my stuff based on the demand, and I base everything off of beanies. So I make a beanie in under an hour, and I know how much the yarn is, and my beanies are $25. So my bitty boho bibs, I try to base, like, okay, if I'm going to be spending time making bitty boho bibs instead of beanies, how much do my bitty boho bibs need to be to make it worth my time, basically. And then I also change my prices based on demand. Like when I was at $15 a beanie, they were selling like hotcakes, and then I raise and raise and raise, and when I got to $25, it kind of slowed my sales. So you want to work smarter, not harder. And I was at I was getting enough orders in to be able to keep up with demand and making good money. I was like, 4 beanies is $100. That's awesome to me. That's what I was thinking. So I'm very comfortable with my $25 for my beanies. Maybe if I started using more expensive yarn, I would raise the price. Or maybe if for some reason my brand became some sort of like national known, everybody in the world knew a crafty concept, then maybe I would raise the prices, just because you want to pay for, sometimes you just pay for the brand. Like people who do makeup things, their makeup things might be very similar to these cheaper makeup things, but you like this person's brand, so you buy their makeup things. I don't do makeup, so I don't know. But if that ever happened, where a crafty concept was a well-known brand, then I would probably raise my prices again, maybe to like $35. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to guess that, because anything can change at any moment in our small businesses, so you got to be open to that. But for now, in this season, I'm very comfortable with $25 a beanie. I think that's fair for them and for me and for my family. And so that, wow, I was answering a question about blogging, and I got on to beanie prices. Anywho, started my blog so I could provide free materials, basically. And I don't make any money off my blog. I do affiliate marketing, and I've made less than $100 since the summer. And you only get paid when you make so much. So I think I've gotten paid one time. So it's very, very small. And one day I will make more money off my blog, because I will start doing ads, which is something I'm going to do in the future. And I have no reason not to do them, other than the fact that it's difficult, and whenever things are difficult, I just don't do them. That's a character flaw that I have. But I will start doing ads, and I will start doing new things, maybe like sponsors and stuff. That's the goal. I would love to get paid by big companies to post free things on my blog for you guys. That would be my goal, because I'd rather get paid by them than get paid by other makers and moms and sisters. I would just rather get paid by big companies than you guys. This hard part on me is getting a good yarn. I love this yarn. I use it for almost everything I design. Like I said earlier, I have started branching out on new yarns, like the EL Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy headband uses the Burnett Homemakers yarn, which is really different than I love this yarn, but I think it looks super classy and like luxury, in my opinion. I feel like it's a luxury yarn compared to I love this yarn, which I love this yarn too, because I use it for all my beanies, any baby blankets that I make, which is usually just for gifts. I don't sell baby blankets. And then I use all of this cotton for my bibs, because I feel like people would rather have a more natural fiber than acrylic. I personally don't care. Also, I think cotton absorbs more than acrylic. Acrylic, the water just kind of moves around, and the cotton would soak it up. Advice for someone who wants to learn how to design their own patterns. My advice would be start paying attention to the way patterns are written, the ones that you've purchased or the free ones that you look at online. Start paying attention to how the design is made. Like, okay, do they increase to make the body or the brim? Or, okay, so this stitch makes the brim really stretchy, or this stitch makes it super tight. So if I need things to not be stretchy, like a purse strap, think of different stitches that you can do. So, and that's something that I don't do very well. Like, I do what I'm told, and I don't read into it. So that's not a very good way to learn. You want to like read into it, why they did the things that they did, and then start making a whole bunch of random stuff, like I did when I followed Bob Wilson 123, because that helps you learn more than just beanies or more than just pillows. Like, you learn all kinds of stuff. Find something that would be totally out of your comfort zone and make it, and pay very close attention to how it's working up, like what you're doing. Don't be like, okay, I did this and this. Oh, wow, look, I made a sweater. Like, pay attention to how the sweater is being made, and that will help you learn how stitches work together, how different yarns work, how different hook sizes make a difference in the finished size. I would recommend doing gauge swatches, which I didn't used to do until I designed my patterns, because people were like, I need a gauge. And I was like, what's a gauge? And I was like, okay, so all I do is I write it out like this, and that's a gauge. And they're like, yeah, you did, that's right. And I was like, okay, there you go, there's a gauge. Never even knew what that was. But that's how I would suggest learning how to design. Also, I do have a blog post about writing your first pattern, and it's all about things that you'd want to make sure you included. So you can check that out on my blog. Just search crochet pattern or something and you'll find it. It wasn't too long ago, so if you just go to craftyconcept.com and scroll down, you should be able to find it. But it's basically a beginner's guide to writing crochet patterns from a beginner's perspective, because I learned on my own and I don't know the right and wrong way, but this is what I do and this is what works for me, and I'm sharing it with you guys. I don't know how much time we have left. It doesn't give me a timer. Okay, yeah, 2 minutes. I have 2 minutes left. So I still have all these questions. Oh my gosh, look. All these questions, good ones. But my voice is getting weird. So I'm going to keep this live for 24 hours. I'm going to try to save it and maybe post it on YouTube. But maybe we can finish these up next week. If you guys want to do another Ask Ashley next week. And I'll do a little poll in my stories to see if you guys want me to continue and hit the rest of these questions. I think we went through a little less than half, maybe half. But thanks for joining me tonight. I love doing lives. I hope that after I save it, I'll be able to go back and scroll through all of these, because I want to see what you guys have been saying. I love talking to you guys. I'm sorry I can't read and talk at the same time. That would be awesome if I could. Lots of stuff on my blog, though. I know somebody asked about my beanie, how I do my bows on the alligator clips. That's on my blog. How to write patterns is on my blog. I don't know, there's lots of stuff on there. So just scroll through some of the posts. If you just go to acraftyconcept.com, you'll be able to see little snippets of all the different posts that I've done. And look at some of the older ones too, because there's some fun stuff in there. I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for 10K. And get excited about the giveaway and the free pattern thing that I'm going to do, because I'm going to need your input on that. I hope everyone has a good night. I'm just going to wait till it shuts me off in 30 seconds. Let me see if I can... So hard to get good yarn in Australia. Ugh. I don't do difficult things. Nope. Oh, I'm savvy. Thank you. You guys are so nice, always. Mwah. And I will fix my nails. They will get better, I promise.